Hello everyone, welcome back. And today's topic is when emotional intelligence becomes more powerful than IQ. Most of us grow up hearing that IQ is everything. That strategy, planning, big decision, all depends on intelligence and logic. But today's session, we will completely change that picture. We will see how empathy, institution, emotional awareness, and human connection actually shape better leaders, better administrators, and even better strategist. Emotional intelligence isn't just about being soft or being kind. It's about understanding human behavior, managing your own emotions, and influencing others positively. In governance and public service, you can't execute any policy by pure logic. You need people's trust, cooperation, willingness, and morale. And those things come from emotional intelligence. So today we will break this myth that IQ is supreme. We will see why emotional intelligence actually decides whether ideas succeed or fail. Now, the first one is the common misbelief. There is a very common misunderstandings, especially in the corporate and academic space. People separate strategy and execution. Strategy means big thinking and execution means small routine work. This is wrong. And interestingly, researchers shows that when organizations separate these two artificially, their performance actually drops. Why? Because strategy and executions are tightly linked through emotions. A leader may make the world's smartest plan on paper, but if he can't connect with team emotionally, the plan collapses. For example, imagine a CEO who brilliantly designed a 5-year company strategy, but he never explains the vision, never motivates the employees, and never listens to consent. What happens? People don't feel included. In here, morale drops and execution becomes weak. So good strategy is not just thinking, it's understanding people. Next, now here's the central message. Both strategy and execution rely heavily on emotional and social intelligence. Top strategists aren't just logical genius. They are emotionally intelligent humans who sense how people think and anticipate reactions and adjust their approach to earn support. For example, think about international negotiations such as nuclear talks and border issue, prisoner exchange. If the negotiator lacks emotional intelligence, misunderstandings happen and tension rises and decisions will fail. Next, now let's get into the little science but in a simple way. Traditionally, people thought strategic thinking means prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain used for logic, planning, and risk analysis. But recent neuroscience flipped this belief. Researchers found that top performers are best strategists actually activate the emotional parts of the brain more. These include the insula, means this gives you gut feelings and it helps you sense others' emotions, and such as empathy and intuition. And next one is anterior cingulate cortex. This helps you to learn from the past mistakes. If it tells you last time this didn't work, let's try a softer approach, like that advice will give. Next one is superior temporal sulcus. This helps you read people's faces, tone, and intentions, basically emotional signals. So real strategy is not cold mechanical logic, it's deeply human. Now, what did brain scans of the top strategists show? They used less of the logical prefrontal cortex and more of emotional regions, meaning they rely on intuition, empathy, people reading, and emotional based judgment. Logic alone cannot win hearts. Emotion guides how logic is applied. For example, Mahatma Gandhi is a perfect example. His strategies were not based on high IQ calculations. They came from the deep emotional understanding of human suffering and collective behavior. His empathy was his strategic strength. Next, IQ help you analyze, but EI help you influence. A leader with emotional intelligence, that is EI, can understand how people feel, predict the reactions, and communicate decisions in a way that build acceptance and manage conflict calmly. Here's the reality. The policy doesn't fail because it is logically wrong. It fails because it was emotionally mishandled. For example, when a difficult tax reform is introduced, people resist. But if the administrator explains why it's needed, addresses the fears, and communicates respectfully, the public cooperation increases. That's the emotional intelligence in governance. Now let's compare two managers. The manager 1 with high IQ but low emotional intelligence. He makes a brilliant plan, but he doesn't sense frustrations, fatigue, or confusion in his team. He gives instructions like a robot. The team will disconnect, and here the plans will fail. And the manager 2 with high emotional intelligence, he talks to the team and understands the concerns and motivate them, explain the purpose of the plan, and adjust the workload based on human limitations. The team follows the willingly and plan will succeed. The same plan but a different emotional approach and different outcome. Now, the core message is the true strategy blends IQ plus EL. If you apply only logic, you become robotic and insensitive. If you apply only emotion, the decision becomes unstable. But when both work together, plans become realistic, communication becomes persuasive, and people feel included and policies succeed. For example, a district collector introducing a new rule cannot say this is illogical, so follow it. He must understand ground realities and emotions of affected people, their fears and cultural sensitivities. That emotional intelligence decides whether the policy achieves result. That's why EL often trumps IQ in real life, leadership, administration and governance. So emotional intelligence is not a soft, it is a secondary skill. So I will stop here. Then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.